Oh, let do it. Yes, it's about that time. Um, the Remy Ma Papoose news been tearing the internet down. Different perspectives, people coming at it from different ways. So this is gonna be a more grown folk perspective. This is definitely a teachable moment, a learning moment. That everybody could get something from, male and female. So we gonna let a couple of people pop in, and then we're gonna talk about it. Hopefully everybody day is good. If your day is not good, hopefully that change before the day is over. And listen, just a quick disclaimer, right? This video is not for the purpose of bashing, antagonizing, disrespecting anybody. Everybody opinions is valid. Just try to keep it respectful, and pretty much we're gonna go from there. It's a lot to unbox in regards to this situation. It's a lot to unbox. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because some of the commentary been crazy, right? Before before Papoose spoke and everybody heard his side of things, everybody had different views. Everybody was saying, oh, Papoose must have had did something. It's no way that a female would just cheat like that. And now that after Papoose spoke, now people saying, yo, Remy Ma is lame, and she capping, she hurt, she scorned. And so now it's going back and forth, right? It's like a tug of war. It's like people, you got the female, of course, a lot of females gonna jump on Remy Ma's side. And when it comes to men, it's like you don't really get the same kind of support, right? Because manhood is judged differently. Manhood is judged and defined by how tough you are, how much money you got, how much females you sleeping with. Now you actually getting an opportunity to witness the opposite, right? And what I mean by the opposite is this is what a real man is. Papoose is what a real man is. A lot of y'all don't understand what a real man is. So this is why we got to speak about it. It's a couple of people in the building, so now we gonna get going. First and foremost, I'm gonna answer the question: is Papoose a lame for staying with Remy Ma while she was cheating on him in his face, disrespecting him, as they say, so forth and so on? My answer to that, it's going to be a couple of answers, but my first answer to that is, if I'm answering it from the standpoint of a grown man, I would say no, Papoose is not wrong for sticking with Papoose is not wrong for sticking with her. And let me tell you why Papoose is not wrong for sticking with her. Papoose is not wrong for sticking with her because when you a real man, when you a grown man is into building, right? This is what a grown man is into. Now, a grown man is going to put his time, his energy, and his effort. And that's called an investment, right? And a man don't want to lose his investment. A real man don't want to put time and effort into something and then he have to turn around and say, okay, well, that's it. I'm finished. I'm done. Now, if you go back to the beginning of the Remy Ma and Papoose, situation where they first got together, remember this man put his career on hold and he did a 6-7 year bid with Remy Ma. So that's 7 years of his life right there, that he can't get back. So in terms of a man, that's his investment. So now when she come home, he's looking to get a return on his investment. Not to say he's looking to come up off of her. He's looking to get some money off of her. No, he's looking to see if his time and his effort was well spent, right? So now they get into their relationship, and he didn't really know her. He didn't spend years in the streets with her or years in a relationship where he knew her character, where he knew her personality. He only knew certain things about her. So now All of the time and effort that he put in, he's trying to see, okay, so is this gonna be reciprocal? Is this gonna be a kind of situation where she gonna deal with me like I dealt with her? So she came home, he started making all of the moves, putting her in position, pushing her career first, letting her shine, letting her get the limelight. And he got an opportunity to see what she did with it, right? Now, once she's back in position where she felt like she didn't need him, now the tables turn. Now she don't gotta rely on him. Now she don't gotta rely on his money. Now she got her own bag. So this is where you get an opportunity to see how real a person is, or if a person is really for you. Because everybody talk about loyalty, everybody talk about staying down, everybody talk about commitment, but a lot of people really don't know what that means. A lot of people really don't know what that look like. Listen, commitment is you stay down with those that stay down with you. The ones that was with you when everybody else turned their back, those are the ones that you owe 100,000% loyalty. It don't matter what goes on. It don't matter if your feelings change. It don't matter if y'all going through ups and downs. If you a person that value and respect and cherish loyalty, you're never going to turn your back on a person like that. So get into the first point. That's where Remy Ma fouled out. Okay, she didn't respect the fact that Papoose did all of this time with her when she didn't have nothing. She couldn't bring nothing to the table. He was bringing everything to the table. She in jail. She behind the wall. Is nothing that she could do. So he showed her the kind of individual that he is. Listen, I'm gonna be with you through thick and thin, through ups and downs. It don't matter. We gonna ride. We gonna rock it out. Now, when she got in a position where she felt her bag was a little bit more secure and she didn't need him, we got an opportunity to see her true personality. And her true personality was she was good with the fact that he was making all of those sacrifices for her to be good. But I don't think Remy Ma ever dealt with a person like Papoose. I don't think she ever dealt with a real man. I don't think she ever dealt with, a dude that's willing to go the distance with you, because a lot of dudes won't. How many dudes, and y'all can put in the chat, how many dudes can say that if a female got to do a bid, you're going to stick with him? I'll wait. It's not many. Just like vice versa on the other foot, it's not too many females that's going to do time with a dude. So the first thing that I would say, and this is going to be in Remy Ma's defense, is I'm going to keep it fair. I'm going to keep it Green Street, right? So in Remy Ma's defense, the first thing that I'm going to say is Remy Ma, just like a lot of females, never been in a relationship with somebody that's just going to hold them down and be with them out of pure love and not what they could get out of them. Remy Ma never experienced that. She didn't know what to do with that. Second thing is, Remy Ma is a hood chick. Remy Ma ain't never really been in no real relationships. Remy Ma probably didn't have no good examples of what a strong couple is. That wasn't the type of time that she was on. So now she's getting introduced to this for the first time, and she ain't know what to do with it. And we remember Remy Ma, she had a little bit more weight on her when she first came home, because she was up there, eating them good setups and eating them ramen noodles and so forth and so on. So she had a little weight to her. And what I noticed is everything was good when she was carrying a couple of extra pounds. She wasn't overweight or nothing, but it seemed like when she started dropping weight, I don't know if it was Ozempic, I don't know if she was in the gym or whatever, but when she started dropping weight, it seemed like, things kind of changed a little bit. Like she started feeling herself a little more. Now, when we look at the kind of individual Papoose is, remember, before Remy Ma, Papoose was into battle rapping. You get what I'm saying? He was in a couple of relationships or whatever, but it wasn't a lot that was really known about Papoose, but just the way that he was carrying things, you could tell he was more a background individual. He was more somebody that was about love and about family and, so forth and so on. So that was the type of time that he was on. I think at the end of the day, Papoose and Remy Ma was never on the same page, because what Papoose was looking for in life and what Remy Ma was looking for in life was two totally different things. The only thing that they had in common was the fact that they was both rappers, right? And so the message in that bottle is, a lot of times people get together, people get in relationships because they have things in common in terms of their careers, but that don't mean that their personalities are uncommon. That don't mean they have, the same goals in life. That don't mean they have, the same ethics, the same values, the same morals. So what we see and play out right now is like a battle of the morals, a battle of the principles, right? And a lot of people, like, I'm looking at videos and I'm looking at, different people that's giving their opinions on it. And I'm gonna tell y'all, first and foremost, you could tell a lot about a person just based on what they say out their mouth, right? You could tell if a person is on grown folk time. You could tell if a person is mature. You could tell if a person is disrespectful, is rude. You could tell if a person is solid. You could tell a lot about a person just by what comes out of their mouth. So all of the different opinions that we hearing, I'm just sitting back and I'm like, yeah, I know what type of time that person on. I know what type of time that person on. And the reason why I decided that I wanted to come at it from the standpoint of whether Papoose was lame or not is because that's how a lot of dudes is looking at him. They like, yo, he a simp. Yo, I could never sit in a household and know that a female is cheating on me and don't do nothing about it. Okay, now let's look at it from the opposite side of the spectrum. How many females, we talking about men and we talk about dudes in general, how many females stick with dudes that cheat on them, that do them dirty, that drag them through the mud? I'll wait. So females is not stupid when they standing by you when you doing them dirty and when you doing them wrong. They not stupid. But if a man stands by a woman that's doing him dirty or doing him wrong, then he's stupid. See, that's a sign of immaturity. I'm not judging you. I don't know your personal situation. I don't know your personal circumstances. But this is why we need to have that fresh, grown folk perspective, right? Because it's not only you and the female or the female and the male that's in the relationship. So you got to remember, your kids is part of the equation. Your family is part of the equation. Your friends is part of the equation. Your finances is part of the equation. All of these things have to be taken into consideration. So as for a lot of people who really not trying to build for the future, they will find it easy to just say, okay, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm out of here. But all the effort and all of the work that you put in that go down the drain. And you got to start from ground zero. What does ground zero look like when this is all that you knew? But we're going to put that on the side for a second and we're going to get right back into it, right? So a lot of females stay in relationships with dudes that's doing them wrong, that's cheating, that's making them look crazy, is because females tend to feel that they could change a dude. They tend to feel like, if I just stay down and if I just stay loyal, I could be the one that could change him. And that's real shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Hats off to you. I respect that. But some of those females don't realize that some dudes ain't never gonna change. When you give a person an inch, they gonna take a yard. That go for men and women, But a lot of dudes be cheating and a lot of dudes be running around with different females is because this is what they was taught. This is what they learned. This is what, society says this is what a man does. Because growing up, All men were seeing was players. They were seeing in they households, men coming in and out of the households every other week. The kids got a different uncle, mommy got a different friend. So this is what a lot of us was grown up seeing. A lot of us ain't grow up seeing no real relationships. The only relationships that we saw growing up that was real families was Bill Cosby, the Huxtables, that family. Good Times, that family, for those, that age. A lot of our experience in terms of households and in terms of relationships, we only know it from the perspective of what we seen on TV. It wasn't masculine. It wasn't manly for a dude to stay in a household with a female and raise them kids, and y'all put y'all one and twos together, and pretty much y'all figure out kind of what's going on with y'all life. And then you had the era where you had dudes out there getting money. And if you was getting money, if you was a drug dealer or, whatever kind of hustle you had, females was attracted to that. So dudes had the opportunity to pick from any kind of females that they wanted. They didn't value women. They didn't value relationships. But then you got people like Papoose, who grew up with a different perspective. And he wanted to build a family. He wanted to build a family unit. Or he didn't see no, okay, well, if this don't work out, I'm gonna do this. No, with him, he was all in. So I listened to his videos, right? I listened to his Instagram videos, and he didn't come across as bitter. He ain't come across, as hurt. Even though you could tell that he was bothered, because nobody want to see their life and their business, played out and aired out on social media. But I gotta respect Pap, because he admitted, he said, yo, listen, I knew she was cheating. I knew she was cheating. I knew she was creeping. And not too many people, especially dudes, not too many people could sit by and just be like, okay, they cheating on me, it's all good. Because you got to have in your mind, every time you see this person, or every time this person sit down and lay down with you, or y'all in the same vicinity, you got to be thinking in your mind, damn, she was just sucking the next nigga dick. Like, she was just fucking the next nigga. You know what I'm saying? And then now I gotta kiss her now. I gotta lay down with her, not knowing if she was using protection with the other person that she was dealing with. You get what I'm saying? Not knowing, what kind of body count or what kind of relationships the other dude was in. So I know that was painful, and I know that was hurtful to him as an individual. But look at look at how strong you gotta be as an individual to just sit back and take that and still be able to stand on 10. Still smile in front of the cameras, still do everything that you have to do as a man. See, whereas some say, oh, he weak, he's soft, he a simp, they only say that because they can't picture themselves being that kind of individual. What do most dudes do when they find out their girl is cheating? They want to put hands and feet on them. You see it on social media all the time. Dudes is taking female lives for that, and sometimes for less than that, because that's the emotional dudes. That's not men. That's the emotional dudes. When you a man, you are pretty much the pillar. You're the foundation of your household. And if you crack, everything around you is going to crack. It's not easy being a man. If it was easy being a man, we would have a lot more men. This is why men, it's only a chosen few. It's a very hard and it's a very difficult job, because a lot of men, you have to put yourself last. And it's not a comfortable situation to be in. A lot of dudes, they want to be in the front. They want to be in the forefront. But when you a man, you put yourself last. You put yourself in the background. Why do you put yourself in the background? Because it's up to you to provide security for that household, which is mental security, emotional security, financial security, and physical security. So if you're not secure within yourself as an individual, is no way possible you could provide any of those things. And then look at the kind of females that we got out here today. Listen to the kind of music that's out there. All females is talking about is using dudes, abusing dudes, having dudes fly them out. If a dude don't make a certain amount of money, females is not trying to get him no kind of attention. These are the kind of females that we're dealing with. And then they wonder why dudes be on bullshit. They wonder why dudes be, all right, I'm going to spend a little time with you. I'm going to knock you down and then I'm going over here because they don't see nothing solid there. You cannot build a home on a foundation that's rocky. You get what I'm saying? You can't build with somebody that don't want to build. This is the facts of the matter. So a lot of females that are listening to this music, the Sexy Reds, the Lottos, the who else? The City Girls, the Megan Thee Stallions, these females that's giving them a false image of what of a woman should be. They speak it from the perspective of a female and not a woman. How do you expect a man to be in a household and raise kids and y'all build a life together if all you looking at him for is a meal ticket? All you feel he worth is, what he could buy for you and what he could provide for you. That's no relationship. That's no life. And that's why it don't last. And so many females got this mentality that, oh, this is the kind of dude that I'm looking for. Okay. So if this is the kind of dude that you're looking for, and if a dude is like, oh, damn, all she wanted some money. So I know when I see her, what I'm saying, I got to blow a bag. So I'm going to see what I can get out the deal. You know what I'm saying? I want to get me out the deal. And getting me out the deal, I want to knock her down and go about my business. But then females get caught up in the emotions. They start feeling you and then they want things to change. And then it turns toxic and, all of the other shit. So, that double standard don't work. But this is the standard that a lot of females, this is the standards that a lot of females are going by. This is the standard that a lot of females, got in their mind like, okay, well, this is the kind of woman that I want to be. So I think we could put Remy Ma in that category, right? I think we can say that Remy Ma was one of those females, not a woman, but one of those females that was just looking for a dude for what he could bring to the table. She didn't have no vision of, what life would be being in a relationship, what life would be having a family. Because keep in mind, when Remy and Papoose got together, Remy already had a child by a dude. And dude wasn't in the picture. So that was her expectation. She wasn't expecting nobody to be in the picture. But, getting back to this thing called manhood. This is why it's so hard as a dude who, really trying to be in a relationship and really trying to raise a family. This is why it's so hard, because you got the females with the different ideas of what they think and feel a man is or a man should be. You know what I'm saying? And Papoose was able to deal with that. He was able to navigate that. I'm pretty sure if he would have put hands on her, if he would have stomped her out, if he would have put that fire to her and put her in the hospital, if he would have did anything, in regards to how most dudes would feel in that same situation, then we'd be saying Pap is a sucker. Then we'd be saying, damn, Pap, he crashed out, because he in jail, because he responded to the female doing him dirty. So it's like you can't win. No matter what, you can't win. And I'm a keep it a band with you, right? I'm gonna keep it a band with you. It's no fun being a real man. Because at the end of the day, you don't get nothing out of it but the satisfaction of saying that you a man. So I get why a lot of dudes don't want to be men. I get it. It boils down to your upbringing. It boils down to, you know what I'm saying? You know, it boils down to the kind of individual that you want to be in your life. Mello, do you have my brother picture on your channel? Who's your brother? Wise Brim. Are you Mingy brother Kareem? Yeah, that's me. That's me. Remo. Um, but who your brother though? Who your brother though? Yeah, so getting back to it. Um, so now in terms of a real man, right? Let's look at um the real men that are in relationships and that's in the households with their kids, right? The only satisfaction you will get as a man is you in your children's life, you raising your kids in a two-parent household, you paying bills, the kids get older, they go off and live their life, they go to college, um, and now once they out the picture, now it's just you and the female left. So now if during that time y'all didn't set no goals and y'all don't have no idea as to where y'all going in life, a lot of times y'all tend to drift apart because mainly the only reason y'all was together was for the kids. Now the kids is no longer there. Now you got to try to figure out what kind of life that you're gonna have with this female. And a female could easily pick up and say, okay, I'm done with this, I'm tired of this, I'm gonna go on with my life. When the kids get older, if you did them right or you dealt with them the right way, when they get older, the only thing they gonna do is, oh well, I'ma take in my mother when she's sick. Ain't nobody taking in the father when he's sick. So you don't really get nothing as a man. You don't really get much out of life aside from the satisfaction of just saying that I raised my kids and I was faithful to my woman. And a lot of dudes feel that's lame. You get what I'm saying? A lot of dudes feel that's lame, like, you know what I mean? They ain't on that. Wise Brim, Mingy brother, Mellow. Mellow from where? Mellow from where? Mellow from where? Um, yeah, so Papoose, he a different kind of individual, and you could tell he's a different kind of individual. But I don't think he a lame. I think he a stand up individual. I think that he invested a lot into that relationship with Remy Ma, and he was looking for a return. And his return is pretty much building a stable household and building a family. That's the type of time that he on. You could tell he wear the jewelry and he get the money and you know what I'm saying, but that's not really his thing. Papoose is always on the move. He always trying to put something together. He always trying to put a move together. He always trying to see about a bag. So that's his satisfaction right there. That's the type of time that he on. He on money time. You know what I'm saying? He on money time and making sure his family's straight and making sure his focus going forward. And pretty much that's what he on. So, I understand why people say lame, because it being a man, yeah, depending on who you ask, it's lame. From Fort Green time. But of course, first side, fatigue and gunsmoke, you know what it is. You said mellow. Oh, mellow. Tamel, my boy. Tamel, my boy. That's who you talking about, right? Your handle is Wise Brim. I'm not. Um. Yeah, nah, mellow. That's my heart, man. That's my heart. And I don't know. If you saw my post. I did a video. I did a video about Mello. I said I was gonna do a video, but when that happened to Mello, I was like, I had just left Mello, like not even 30 minutes before that happened. I had just left Mello. You know what I'm saying? That's my biological brother. I say that. Yeah, I had just left Mello. And Like, yeah, man, that broke my heart. But I mean, if you know the story and you know the scenario, then you know what happened after that. You get what I'm saying? You know what happened after that. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I had just left Mello and I had to go uptown and take care of something. And when I came back, he was, they said he got stretched out right there in the spot that I had just left him in. So when I came back to the hood, you know, I grabbed old boy that was standing right there. I'm not gonna put his name because it was somebody that was standing there and watched that go down. And he ain't do nothing. So as soon as I got back to the hood, I went and grabbed boy. I'm like, yo, come on. You coming with me to put in this twerk. And I took him on the other side and, you know, um, yeah, type shit. And that turned into a situation. But crazy thing is, we went through that side of the project and that thing out for like 2-3 weeks straight. And boy got to the point where he ain't want that smoke, so he wound up turning himself in. You know, he wound up turning himself in. After he turned himself in, um, it died down. It died down for a minute, and um, you know, and I wound up running into old boy. I wound up running into old boy when I was up top. Well, I ain't run into him. The situation was I was in Comstock and we was in long-term key block, so I was on one floor and he was on the other floor. So, he said he was from the fort and whatnot, and I asked him his name. And so then when I, kind of got to the conclusion, like, okay, that son, I told him to go outside. And I was telling everybody, that was in between us, what I mean, to fall back so I could land in the same cage with him. Because in Comstock, you had like, different cages. And we landed outside, but we ain't end up in the same cage. So I ain't get an opportunity, to get at old boy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was a crazy, man. It was a crazy scenario. That's my boy though. That's my heart. I got him on my Facebook and I got him. I did a story about him. Yeah, man. Came a long way, but hopefully everything good with you. You said we played together as kids. Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, but see, look, listen, you gotta understand, right? Son D, right? We know we know who we talking about, and we see the type of time that he on right now. I don't knock nobody for what type of time they on, but you gotta keep in mind, Sonny was never on that type of time. Never. Sonny was never on that type of time. Sonny was never no live wire. Even when we was younger, Sonny was soft. That nigga was come on, man. He wasn't on that type of time. And that's why it was surprising to me when he got locked up for that case. But we all know the politics with that. You feel what I'm saying? We all know, like, okay, well, he he was rolling with the rush and he was, what I'm saying, he was rocking with dudes who, they was trying to do what they was trying to do, and he got caught up, and he went and did that time, and what I'm saying, because he got a reversal and he came home, and he got a lawsuit and he got a couple of dollars. you know um that's the type of time that he on right now, on that, how you say, what do you call that movement that he doing, um the wrongfully incarcerated. But those that know the story, they know the story. Remember, I was in the hood. I was in the hood at that time. We was going through it. You feel what I'm saying? Um, yeah, we all know the story. But son, he was never on that time, and he not on that time right now. I respect what he doing. I respect what he got going on, and that's just him. But he was never on the type of time that we was on, and that I was on. You know, if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. But yeah, man, good to hear everything good with you. Um, And I'm saying, hopefully life treating you good. You see what I'm doing, man. I'm out the way. Just trying to build and trying to build and try to be a different kind of individual. And when I'm taking the first shot, I'm talking to Eddie Davis, Yvette Davis, Jeffrey Troy. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But this is what I'm saying, like, so when we and this is why I'm happy that I am who I am right now, and I'm growing into the individual that I'm growing into right now, right? Because um a lot of stories got to be told. You get what I'm saying? Um a lot of shit we ain't understand growing up. We ain't understand. We just came outside. Exactly, the stage in the airplane. That was right there in front of my building. A lot used to go down right there. But just growing up, it was a lot that we didn't know, and it was a lot that we ain't understand, right? And a lot of us got caught up. And even me, after I did all of that time and I came home, I still had to come out here and try to figure out life. And I'm still trying to figure out life every day. But I know that the way I used to live and the type of time that I was on back then, it's like, nah, that type of time, it ain't gonna get me nowhere. Like even the situation with Mello, right? Even the situation with Mello. Old boy ain't wanna do that. You know what I'm saying? Old boy ain't wanna do that. We know what set that situation off, you know? Um, yeah, Rip Rock. That's my boy, Blaze. That's my boy. You know what I'm saying? That's my boy. That's my boy right there. And I heard he died from, you know, yeah, man. And this is why it's so important to be on grown folk time. This is why it's so important, to understand like how a lot of these scenarios play out and just realize like you gotta be you, but a lot of us don't know how to be us. You know what I mean? So I just use this little scenario as an opportunity to give it to you from a grown folk perspective. You know what I'm saying? Cause you know the type of time I was on. I was on dummy. You get what I'm saying? Anything that came through the first side, it ain't matter what hood you was from. If you came through that first side in the 90s and you got stuck up, 95% of the time it was me. In the 90s, if you came through the fort. You know what I'm saying? And then we know we know about all of the, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here type shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I done been through it and I done stood tall through it all. And this is the type of time I'm on right now. But so yeah, definitely why stay up. Hit me on my Instagram. You'll see my Instagram link is on this channel. So send me a DM, you know what I'm saying, and we could chop it up. Ain't, I don't want to chop up too much in terms of you know, on here. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm still here. I'm still him, still doing what I do. I'm just doing it different, right? So, but right back to it. For anybody, if I got detoured and if I got sidetracked, whatever, I apologize for that because this Papoose and Remy Ma was a real situation. Papoose put a lot of time and effort into that relationship, and the sad thing is he ain't getting nothing out of it at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But his name getting dragged through the mud. And for Remy Ma, it just really say a lot about her character as an individual. She don't care about nobody but herself. She don't care about, the fact that now her daughter's not gonna grow up with her father in the household. And Remy Ma thinks she flexing by dealing with this boy Easy the Block Captain. And this is where a lot of females is crazy, and this is where a lot of females be looking dumb, right? Because if a dude is gonna rock with you knowing that you cheating on your husband. You think Easy the Block Captain gonna ever respect Remy? And it already been rumors in circulation that he cheating on her. You feel what I'm saying? Those rumors and speculation that's already been out there. But do you honestly think that Remy Ma is gonna be respected by Easy the Block Captain after he already see what type of time she on? He already see she a pop. He already, if she not gonna be loyal to the person that she married to, what make you think she gonna be loyal to you in the long run in the bigger scheme of things? It just showed that she don't got no respect and integrity as an individual, and he don't got no respect and integrity as an individual. Because what if Papoose was on that type of time where you mess with his girl, you know what I'm saying, or you violate him, he gonna put you down. So Easy to Block Captain, you putting your life on a line for some sex, for some time with a female, when there's so many other females out there that don't got a man, that don't got attachments. This is what dudes be doing. This is why you got to understand the difference between a man and a boy. Easy to Block Captain is a boy, and this is no disrespect to him. I would tell him in his face, he's a boy, and he don't understand. And you could tell that he's not from that life. You could tell that he's not cut from a certain cloth, because if you cut from a certain cloth, you will realize and you will know and you will move accordingly. You will know that it's certain lines that you don't cross. It's certain lines you do not cross. You do not sleep with another man's woman or girl unless you on demon time all day, every day. Because you know, soon as dude find out, you know y'all gonna have some issues. You're gonna have to lay him down, or he gonna have to lay you down. So the fact that Easy to Block Captain, he spent most of his life going to rap battles, you could tell that he's not on that time. You could tell that he's not built like that. And for Remy Ma to mess with a dude like that over Papoose, that just lets you know what's her type. That she's not used to dealing and rocking with dudes that's on real time. No matter how much she screamed Terror Squad, no matter how much she screamed gang gang, no matter how much she screamed she's a thoroughbred. Listen, Remy, you got put on because you was from the Bronx, and you know, you had a little buzz in terms of being a female. So Fat Joe and them, they wanted a female on their squad. And that's how you came into the picture. You didn't come into the picture because you was some live wire, you was some tough, you was some gangsters. You was still a young little girl trying to find your way, and you was using rap as your way out, as your outlet. You was kind of nice at the time, and that's how life played out. But in terms of being built, in terms of being a live wire, in terms of being on a certain time, Remy Ma was never that. And you don't gotta believe what I say. Let's just look at the facts, because if the saying that we use, if real recognize real, why was Papoose unfamiliar to Remy Ma? If she was real and she rocked with real people, she would have still been rocking with with Papoose. You know what I'm saying? And Easy to Block Captain is like, come on, man. Like Remy Ma don't realize she made the whole New York look crazy. She made the whole New York look crazy. She make the whole Bronx look crazy. She make every thoroughbred female and every real female from the Bronx, she make them look crazy. Because you from New York. You gonna shit on a New York dude, and drag him through the mud for somebody from another state, another town that ain't got nothing going on. So right there, that's where we could close the chapter and we could say, yeah, Remy Ma ain't about Franks. You feel what I'm saying? And all of the materialism she wear, all of the designer that she talk about, that's the only thing that she can use to create an image for herself. Because aside from that, what do Remy Ma got going on? Aside from talking about the designer, because Remy Ma is she's an average chick. She's not a 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 9, a 8 out of 8 on no Richter scale. She's a average looking female. She's not exotic. She don't have no banging body or nothing like that. So it just goes to show that Papoose really loved her. And, she did him dirty. She did him dirty, and Pap did, what anybody else would do. And like, I'm gonna move on, because if you a real individual, if you a stepper, if you about what you say you about, you ain't worrying about the losses. You focused on the wins. You know what I'm saying? And a person that's really about what they say they about, they always gonna win. They always gonna win. So man, shout out to Papoose. I tip my hat off to you as an individual. It's BK all day. As well as shout out, to Queens, That's my second home. Or is that my second home? Or is that my I fuck with Harlem too. I'm New York, Remy ain't nothing without Papoose. He already said he wrote 90% of her rhymes. Prophet Rod, exactly. Remy is nothing without Papoose. and watch in the next year or two, we gonna see Remy Ma either slowly fade out, right? We gonna see her slowly fade out, and we gonna see her going through a whole bunch of drama. Because Easy the Block Captain is not bringing nothing to the table. He don't have no connects. He don't have no resources. He don't got no team of individuals, that he could benefit Remy Ma. All he is a battle rapper. And Remy Ma is the one that's promoting him to make him into something. So what she gonna experience, because karma is a motherfucker. Karma is a motherfucker. The same thing she did to Pap, watch what Easy the Block Captain do to her, because he don't really got too much of nothing right now, right? But once he get a little something, and then you got to remember, now in his town, he's a hero. All of those females that ain't got nothing, the little baddies from the hood or whatever the case may be, he got a lot of attention and he got a lot of spotlight on him. And he's the kind of individual, he already done fell victim to that spotlight and that limelight because he was never in it before. You get what I'm saying? And he gonna take Remy Ma through a whole lot of problems and a whole lot of issues. And that's what she gonna have to deal with. And Pap, he gonna go on living his life, and everything gonna be good with him. You see what I'm saying? Unfortunate situation for sure, but it's a real live situation. And what I want to say to all of the dudes out there is, learn who you are as an individual. And don't let nothing and nobody trick you off these streets, or trick you out your life. That's what I'm gonna say. All you YNs, all you dudes running around on gang time, and as soon as somebody say something you don't like, or something done you don't like, and you trying to lay him down, that's not what being a man is about. Because a lot of dudes that's out there running around on gang time and putting in all of that work and shooting up blocks or whatever, a lot of y'all broke. A lot of y'all ain't got no money. And when y'all get locked up, the first thing y'all calling for is y'all mother. I be watching the video, sickening, and be sad. All these young niggas from all of these different states, The first thing you hear them say when they get pulled over by police or when they get in that interrogation room, the first thing they asking for is their mother. And I feel sad for them. You get what I'm saying? I feel sad for them because they are a product of what they being taught. I don't judge them. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of young boys that I rock with and I try to keep them on their toes. I don't judge them. I feel sorry for them because a lot of them are throwing their life away before they even realize what life is about. If the only thing you know to be life is doing drugs and going on drills, you don't know what life is about. Because where do you find time to pay your bills? Where do you find time to make money to put a roof over your head? Where do you find time to raise your children? Where do you find time to put into a relationship? And this is why a lot of relationships go south. This is why you keep having these stories where dudes are so emotional, that come on, how many females in the past year? How many females in the past year then got gunned down on camera by dudes for whatever reason? And everybody respect them when they making that music and they in these videos and they showing these money and they showing all of these, you know what I'm saying? And they saying, oh, they a real individual, but that's all an image. That's not reality. Because they don't even know how to use common sense in certain situations. They don't realize that it's cameras everywhere. So anything that you do, you on camera. They don't care until they get behind that wall, until they sitting there doing 20, 30, 40 years. Then that's when the reality set in, like, oh man, I shouldn't have did that. I should have did something different. So this is why this thing that's going on with Papoose and Remy Ma, this is the only reason why I decided to speak about this, because there's so much to be learned from it. You got so many people that saying Papoose is a lame for sticking by Remy Ma because they don't understand what a real man is about. And just how Papoose handled that situation, this is how I hope a lot of you dudes could handle situations with females. It don't necessarily have to be a female cheating on you. It could be if y'all not working, you know what I'm saying? If things is not playing out the way that you wanted to, if it's a whole lot of beef and if it's a whole lot of arguing, if it's a whole lot of toxicity going on, walk away. Stop thinking about how people gonna view you. It don't matter if people call you a sucker because you was dealing with a female that did certain things and you walked away. It don't matter if they call you a sucker. People gonna be calling you stupid if you do something to and you get locked up. Look, one thing you gotta realize about a female, right? You have female and you have woman. A woman, we talk about a real woman and how to identify her. Let me give y'all some real game right now, right? How to identify a real woman. A real woman have morals, have values, have integrity, have class. You're never going to see them doing certain things. They not going to be in the club all day. They not going to be on social media all day. They not going to be arguing, beefing, and fighting with you all day. They not going to be attacking you all day. That's not what a woman is. A woman is somebody respectful, responsible, nurturing, caring, and considerate. Those are some of the qualities of a woman, right? Because most women, they have careers. Most women have careers. And not only do they have careers, but most women have responsibilities. Most women only deal with certain caliber of people and individuals. So when you dealing with a real woman, you're not going to get disrespect. You're not going to get arguing and beefing and debating and going back and forth. You're not going to get none of that because they too focused on their purpose. They too focused on their goals. You get what I'm saying? They have a certain image that they're seeking to obtain for themselves. So you're not going to catch them nowhere. Now, the females, those are the ones you see in the stores arguing with the people over Popeye's chicken, arguing at people in the McDonald's drive-thru because they didn't get their fries and they drink, going crazy in Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Online, 40, 50, 60 years old, still wearing booty shorts, still with their breast out. See, those are females. Those are little girls. It don't matter what age they are. The mentality defines what kind of person they are. If you are 30, 40, and 50-year-old individual, and you still walking around and you out and about with your kids and you still trying to show up your body, you still trying to get attention, you got to reevaluate your priorities, love. I'm sorry to say. If nobody ain't tell you, I'm going to be the first to tell you because it ain't nothing womanly about that. Do you know how embarrassing it is you walking around with your children, or you going somewhere with your children, booty all hanging out your shorts, you know what I'm saying, booty all over the place and breasts all out, and dudes is trying to holler at you in front of your kids. It may make you feel good as an individual because you getting some attention, but why would you want to get attention from dudes that's standing in front of stores or standing in front of establishments talking about, yo, ma, yo, what's good? Yo, come here, let me holler at you. Why does that make you feel good? Because if they standing on a corner and they standing on a block, that means they ain't got no goals and no priorities about themselves. Because a man ain't got time to be standing on the corner. A man got bills to pay. A man got kids to take care of. So they not standing on no corner. So y'all females, with how y'all dress, y'all attract this kind of energy. Y'all attract this kind of attention. And then y'all wind up having kids and y'all wind up dealing with deadbeat dudes. Y'all wind up dealing with dudes that just want to smoke and do drugs all day and play video games all day. Y'all have 3, 4, 5 kids. Y'all get dragged through the mud. Y'all get tired of that. And then y'all start talking about y'all want a real man. Then now you want to date a man who's responsible and who's going to be home and who's going to help you take care of you and them 5 kids. And those be the same females that say men ain't shit. No, it's not that men ain't shit. It's the kind of men that you deal with. It's the kind of men that you attract. If a man is going to rock with you, or if a man is going to be attracted to you because you showing off all your body, you think you the only one that's attracting this man? Did you ever stop to think about that? If he's attracted to body, he's not only going to be attracted to your body. And 9 times out of 10, he got a roving eye. A lot of y'all females don't even realize, y'all create your own hell. Y'all create your own scenarios. And it be so crazy because when a female got a real dude, when a female got a real man in their life, they don't know how to appreciate him because being a real man, it's not glamorous. It's not glamorous. It's not dealing with a real man. A real man mindset is, I got to provide and to protect my household. I got to put some money up and I got to build for the future. So a real man is a working class man. That's what a real man is. And so I understand why, females get bored with that. I understand why females want to stray and, they want to deal with the thugs and they want to deal with, the dudes that's on gang time and the ones that feel like they got a lot of motion, because Females just want excitement. Females just want to have a good time. Y'all think that life is about having a good time. You don't care if your lights off. You don't care if the cable behind. You don't care if it's 10 of y'all living in a 2-bedroom apartment. Y'all just want to have fun. A lot of females just want to have fun. And I'm not attacking females. I'm just giving y'all some game right now. I'm just letting y'all know that a lot of y'all attract what it is that y'all get. So learn from this Papoose Remy Ma situation, because she found the diamond in the rough. She just ain't know how to deal with it. She ain't know how to handle dealing with a real man. And so now, as a result, she gonna find herself dealing with little boys. And a lot of y'all females, stop trying to be on Remy Ma's side in terms of what happened. Stop promoting that this is the kind of female that you want to look up to, that you aspire to be, that you rock with. Stop being those kind of females, because y'all gonna have the same mentality as her. And they say 2 birds of a feather rock together. So a lot of females that support in Remy Ma, they on the same type of time. And if you a dude and you got a female that's rocking with Remy Ma, then you know what kind of female she is. And I would say get rid of her before you get the same circumstances, boy. Get rid of her. Because as hard as life is, as expensive as everything in life is, in this life, it always been that way. But in this life, especially right now, you need a partner. What a partner is you bringing your resources to the table. They bringing their resources to the table, so y'all can have a decent functioning household. Because no one person could do it no more. So if you got a female that's cheering and rooting for Remy Ma, when she's running around married with another dude, and a lame at that, listen. And again, there's no disrespect to Easy, but I'm going to call it what it is, right? The same way we call gangsters, gangsters, the same way we call tough people, the same way we call working class people. Easy the block captain is a lame. And I'm not saying it with disrespect. I'm saying it the reality of the situation. Old boy is a lame, because if the only pickings that you have to pick from is a married woman, then that means you can't get no other woman. And Remy Ma, the fact that she had to downgrade instead of upgrade, that means that a lot of these other dudes weren't paying no attention. Think about it. Think about some of these females out there that's hot, that's popping, that's celebrities or whatever. What are they doing? What kind of men are they going for? They going for basketball players, football players, some kind of athlete. They going for rich rappers because they trying to secure the bag. Because they got standards. And because they also feel that they can attract and can bring something to the table in relationships with these dudes. So if Remy Ma had to date down and had to deal with somebody that's beneath her, then that means she don't know how to deal with a real man or a big dog that got some motion. Because you can't front to them. You get what I'm saying? You can't make yourself feel 10 feet tall around a giant that's really 10 feet tall. So it kind of seems to me like Remy Ma got like some control issues. Her thing is she want to be in control, and she want to have somebody that she can manipulate. And she couldn't manipulate, she couldn't manipulate Papoose. So again, like I was saying, learn from this situation, learn from this scenario. You know what I'm saying? Papoose is a stand-up dude. And being a stand-up dude, you know, you're not always gonna get looked at. You're not always gonna get looked at in the best light. Shout out from Puerto Rico. You know, a real dude is not gonna always get looked at in the right light, because it's nothing fancy about being a real man. A real dude and a real man is two totally different scenarios. But being a real man is not a whole lot of rewards. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of headaches. It's a lot of stress. Um, you know, it's not real glamorous. Now, when you learn how to balance, when you learn how to balance handling all your responsibilities as a man, making sure, you know, everything is straight, and then finding time for yourself, then, you know, then that's how you become a great man. But it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. And, you know, I just want y'all to take from, I want y'all to take from this video, you know, and what y'all seeing out there in social media and what y'all seeing out there in the real world. I want you to take the real lessons from it, right? And the reason why it's important to take the real lessons out of it is because a lot of things that go on in life is smoke and mirrors. You know, this is playing out on social media, but it's still playing out in real life too, you know? And other people is pretty much gonna have their scenario. So, you know, it just is what it is, you know? Um, but I want to know what y'all think about this. Tell me what y'all think about it in the comment section. Um, tell me what y'all get out of it. That's personally what I got out of it. And I done dealt with, you know what I'm saying? I didn't been just you know, being real and being honest. I done been on both sides of the coin, you know? Um, and I had to learn from experience as well. So a lot of what I'm talking about, I'm talking from experience. I'm not just talking because I got lips. I'm a Pisces myself. I'm just like Pap. I see a lot of similar characteristics between me and Papoose, and how Papoose handled that situation that he was dealing with. I had to handle my situation the same way. Now, and this, I'm not trying to go off and stray off in another direction, right? But I gotta be real and I gotta be honest with you. See, dudes in the streets didn't play with me, because when you in the streets and you running around, people get an opportunity to see who you are, how you are, what type of time you on, right? And especially if you moving, you really maneuvering in them streets, you know, it's a lot that go with it. So dudes don't try you in the streets unless you a real meatball, unless you a buster, you a lame, you know what I'm saying? Unless you got it, and you know, dudes feel like you can't hold that down, or you don't deserve to have that, so they gonna come at you. Or you know, you probably run across a stray dog or a stray cat, you know what I'm saying? They ribs is touching, you know, they hungry, and you know what I'm saying, they gonna try you. But for the most part, in the streets, people don't disrespect you because they know it's consequences that come with that. They know it's consequences that come with that. But females would do it all day, because in their mind, you're not going to do nothing. In their mind, you love them enough not to put your hands on them. In their mind, they feel like whatever they doing is right for whatever reason. So when you end those kind of relationships, you have to know how to move accordingly. You got to know how to move accordingly, because if you dealing with a female that don't respect you as an individual, that don't respect your relationship, and that's going to have you looking crazy in the streets, why would you want to do something to them and put yourself in prison knowing that they're not going to be there anyway? And knowing that 9 times out of 10, if you do something to them, that they just gonna feel more justified in doing what it is that they doing. Or maybe that's their whole entire goal, to get you to react, to get you out of the picture, because they don't want to be with you and they don't want to rock with you for whatever reason. See, when you're emotional and your mind haven't developed to where you're able to rationalize and make sense of things and make sense of what's going on, then you're going to do what's called be a reactionary. You're going to be a person that whatever you feel, boom, you're going to act on it, and you're going to find yourself in some fucked up circumstances behind that. And you shouldn't put yourself in certain predicaments and circumstances over a female that is clear they don't give a fuck about you. It's best to just let them go their way, because if they don't value you now, they're not going to value you later. And a lot of times, if you a man, and a lot of us that came from the streets and that came from the hood where we didn't have no parents, a lot of us got older, and it's like we want to have a household where our kids grow up in a household with us. This is what we want because we didn't have it growing up. And a lot of females think they getting over, they think they being slick, or they think, a dude is a sucker because he trying to stay in those kind of scenarios, because they don't realize the mindset. When you a dude that came, you went through life and you didn't have a mother and you didn't have a father in your life. When you get older, if you're fortunate to mature as an individual, you want to experience that because you didn't experience it yourself. Empress 444 said all Pisces expressing their feelings. Venus is in Pisces on a cosmic note. Papoose is the truth before and after this. His heart hurt. Remy's ego's hurt. Big difference. Empress 444, I agree with you. Remy is ego driven, and Pap heart hurt because that was his heart. You get what I'm saying? I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And Papoose he's the poster child for a stand-up dude. He's a poster child for a stand-up dude. We all know that situation could have got ugly. That situation could have got ugly. And thankfully, he didn't have to go in no handcuffs behind the situation with Easy the Block Captain. And hopefully that's not the scenario in the future. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure when he looked back and he thought about it, he was like, I played myself. But as a man, he like, nah, dude disrespected me, so I had to get at him. You know what I'm saying? And if Easy the Block Captain was on certain type of time, he wouldn't have just let that ride. That's what just goes to show all around the board. Easy the Block Captain is a sucker. Homeboy is a straight up stone cold lame. He's a lemon from Yemen. I don't understand why Remy Ma, like how the world sees her. What do you see in that? If he not going to protect himself, if he not going to stand up for himself when somebody boxed him in the mouth, what happens if y'all in another state and you got on all your jury and dudes try you? He probably going to bail on you. You'll probably stay in there fight. He's probably going to bail on you. Because he don't even stand up. He don't even stand up for himself. And then he about a bunch of lies, games, and manipulations. You know what I'm saying? Telling people like he using you, like you his come up, and you like, yeah, he treat me better than Papoose. Remy Ma, I pray for you. I pray for you because, you know what I'm saying, you got a daughter. And in order for you to raise a strong black queen. And this is not about black, white, purple, orange, whatever. In order for you, Remy Ma, to raise a strong black woman, you have to be a strong black woman yourself. You can't teach your daughter to be a woman if you're not acting like a woman, if you don't know how to be a woman. What you're doing right now, Remy Ma, the example that you're setting an example that to your child that it's okay if she got older and she did the same thing. And you know, Remy Ma, like when it comes to, females and dealing with different dudes and depending on who the dudes are, that situation could turn ugly. It could get real dark. You know that. And you playing with that kind of fire. One thing that we know you shouldn't play with is you shouldn't play with a man's emotions, because men don't know how to, rationalize when it comes to their feelings. But for you to be playing a dangerous game like that, and you play that game, but then you have rap battle shows where you accessible to everybody. Like, not smart. That's you're not even moving smart. And nobody that you come across is going to ever respect Easy to Block Captain. They always gonna look at him as that's Remy Ma dude, because he didn't show himself to be a stand-up dude. But I don't want to keep talking about him, and I don't want to keep talking about Rem, but I want y'all to understand, like, man, this is real life. And some of these situations could turn real cold and tragic, like, real quick. You don't want to play in those scenarios. Look, it's too many females out there. And this is even for the females, because I'm not one-sided. Women, it's a lot of good dudes out there. Now, all of the good dudes ain't going to be able to provide you a life of luxury and this 5-star lifestyle that a lot of y'all want. But if you find you a dude, a solid dude, and if y'all work it together, if y'all work y'all game plan together, y'all could create the 5-star lifestyle. Y'all could create it. For all the females that's looking for dudes, the high earners, the got all of this money, that got their life set, a lot of y'all females are looking for those kind of individuals because you can't create it and you can't provide it for yourself. All facts, no cap. Because if you could provide it for yourself, it would be no need to look for a dude with it. And the question that I have to y'all females that's looking for these high earning dudes that got all of this going on, what makes you deserving of that? What makes you feel so entitled to that? You can't even provide it for yourself. Y'all looking for a come up. And dudes, y'all need to be careful. Like, stay away from those females who talking about, oh, you got to have this, that, and the third to be with me. And a lot of them ain't bringing a quarter of that to the table. All they bringing to the table is their body and what's in between their legs. And they think that that's their American Express card. And a lot of them, that's all they got to offer. So if y'all dudes get tricked into dealing with some of these females, that's all they want out of you and that's all they want out of a relationship, they don't want you. They want what you have. And if you're not smart enough to realize and to understand this, you going to get caught up with the females where, they just going to be with you long enough for you to get married, and then they going to divorce you and they going to take half of what you got, and you going to have kids and they going to put you on child support, and you're going to live a life full of drama. And then on the opposite side of the coin, to the females, Don't be impressed by them dudes that just want to flaunt their wealth and what it is that they have. Don't be impressed by that. Don't be impressed by that. Because that means that they shallow. That means that they trying to manipulate you into being in a relationship, that they trying to buy you. That's a form of manipulation. I'm saying, so you can't be fooled. And it's important to know what real life is about. You know what I'm saying? Because anything in this world you want, you can have if you're willing to put in the work. If you're willing to work for it, you could get anything in this world that you want. If you're willing to stay down until you come up, you could get anything in this world that you want. If you're dealing with a solid person, it don't matter if y'all don't got nothing. If you dealing with a solid person and y'all sit down and y'all come up with a game plan based on y'all life, based on what's going on in y'all life, not anybody else's lifestyle, based on what's going on in y'all life, y'all sit down and y'all come up with a game plan in terms of how you want to live your life, what you want to accomplish. Y'all figure out what it is that y'all have to do, put in the time and the effort, make the sacrifices, and you can make it happen. And then you wouldn't need to deal with nobody else. Like, it's too much drugs out there, it's too much disease, it's too much drama, it's too many people that's not mentally fit. Y'all better be careful about who y'all trying to run and jump in relationships with, irregardless to what it is that they got. You want to deal with somebody that got a head on their shoulders. You want to deal with somebody that's so solid that no matter what goes on in life, they going to come up with a solution to fix that. Or they're going to be working towards a solution to fix that. That's what's solid. Because there's some situations that money is not going to be able to get you out of. Money is a means to an end. But it's some things in life money can't do nothing about. You know? So respect to all of those who on the toxic side of things and who that's how they want to live their life. Like I said, we already know how those scenarios play out. They get to be 40, 50, and 60 years old, be washed up, and then they willing to accept any man that come in their life because they know they done fumbled the bag. You know, shout out to all of the dudes who you just staying down and you just staying solid. You rolling with the punches. You trying to be, you know, the best possible individual that you could be. I know it's stressful, you know, but shout out to you. Don't stop doing what you're doing, because although we was taught that the toxic and the drama, you know, and all of that come with it, that that's what life is about. That's not what life is about. That's what dysfunctional black folk life is about, or dysfunctional hood folk life is about. All of these other races and nationalities of people, that's not how they live in their life. You know, so stop being used to what you was used to, for lack of better words. Stop being used to what you was used to. Because just because that's how you grew up seeing things and doing things, you know, that don't mean that that's what you should do, that you should follow on your tradition. Seek to want better in life, you know? Seek to want to deal with somebody that really want to build, because how life work, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to get up out of here, right? How life work is life go up and down like the Dow Jones, right? Everything that goes up is going to come down. So where it is right now, you're dealing with in life, okay, the man is up and the female is down here, right? It comes a point in time where, that man has reached as far as he could reach. He don't know where to go from there, and he start coming back down. Or a man could get sick, a man could lose his job, a man could get injured, a man can make bad investments, and a man can lose. So a man is gonna, eventually come back down. It don't matter who you are. And the female that, she was just pacing herself, she could be the one that rise. So you want to be in a relationship with somebody that y'all going to be each other's strength. Somebody that no matter what, ups, downs, highs, lows, through good, through bad, through thick and through thin, you got somebody that's going to stay by your side and y'all going to figure it out together. Be it y'all going to have a good life, y'all going to have a great life, y'all going to have an amazing life. That's yet to be determined. It boils down to you as individuals, but you would rather be with somebody like that. You don't want to be with somebody that's only with you just because you got something, because when you don't got nothing, they ain't going to be with you no more. You don't want to be with a female who's all about her body and looks and attention and Instagram likes and stuff like that, because that means she's for everybody. She wants attention. So if you're not giving her attention, she's going to get the attention elsewhere. You don't want to be with that kind of person. Females, you don't want to be with a kind of dude who can't think and who's always emotional and who don't know how to figure life out. A lot of these dudes don't know how to pay bills. A lot of these dudes ain't never had a light bill in their name. They ain't never had a water bill in their name. A lot of these dudes ain't got $1 to their name. Some of them is going through their transition and they gonna come up. But judge people, based on real life qualifications. You know what I'm saying? Judging based on real life qualification. If they're able to stand through the storm in their own life, that shows that they'll be able to stand through the storm in your life. That's superficial. It look good for social media. And this the last I'm gonna say about this Remy and Pap situation. And I dropped some other videos about it. So, y'all could go on my page and y'all could check that out. For the most part, I give, inspirational and uplifting videos and things of that nature. I'm going to start expanding the content again like I used to do before. And then we go from there, because real life is real life. And what I've been through in my real life, a lot of people ain't survived. You know what I'm saying? I done bounced back from so much. I done got knocked down quite a few times. I never got knocked out. My life was crazy, wild, and reckless. I could have been off the count. So I'm thankful and I'm appreciative of the fact that I'm still here right now. And I want to give back. I want to be able to tell somebody something to inspire them to change some things about their life for the better. Not here to preach, just here to teach, Here to give you a different kind of perspective, a different way of looking at things so that you could be successful in life, because there's a lot of failures. And you could be on that side of the coin. Every single decision that you make in life count for something. And one of the most important decisions that you're going to make in life is the person that you choose to be in a relationship with. Because that person could either make you or they could break you. That person could be your peace or they could be your destruction. They could be your heaven or they could be your hell. So you got to be very careful with who you choose and decide to be in a relationship with. It's a lot of people out there mentally unstable, mentally unfit, got all kind of mental health issues. And you don't know about it. So kind of be careful with relationships. And when it comes to social media, when it comes to these celebrities' life, take that shit with a grain of salt, though, because a lot of that shit is smoke and mirrors. When the camera is on, you're only going to see what people want you to see. When the camera is off, you don't know what's going on in their real life. See, people could get on a camera and they could front and act like everything is all good. In real life, their life could be in shambles. So let's just try to be mindful. Um, Shout out to Remy Ma. Shout out to Papoose. Shout out to Easy the Block Captain. And shout out to everybody else that's a part of that scenario. They say, Papoose daughter chimed in, when she said something about the whole scenario, and I felt what she said. At the end of the day, she feel heartbreaking behind it because it's real life playing out. But the reason why I shouted out all of those individuals that are in this particular scenario is because they all have to navigate through this the best way that they know how. And their ability to navigate is based on the kind of individuals that they are at the end of the day. Will Remy Ma and Easy the Block Captain go on and have a happy and successful relationship? I don't think so. I don't think so, and I don't feel that's possible because, like I said, Easy the Block Captain, he already showed cross towards Remy Ma, for one. And for two, he can't value and respect her as an individual if he knows that she's sleeping with him and then going back and sleeping with, her husband. It's like no man in a right mind is going to ultimately respect, cherish, and appreciate that kind of female. Now, if he have ulterior motives for dealing with her, meaning she's his come up, then yeah, he'll accept whatever it is that she dishing out because he know at the end of the day that it's going to benefit him. And the true test of that relationship is going to be when he's in a position where he no longer needs you, Remy Ma. What kind of individual is he going to be? You know what I'm saying? So that's still to be determined, and that's when you'll find out if dude is for you and dude is not for you. And to, Pap, I ain't even gotta say too much, to Pap. He done went on it with his life. He's doing what he's doing. Pap is a builder. You understand? He's a Pisces, just like me. So, no matter what happened in life, we always gonna bounce back forward and we always go to the top. You get what I'm saying? I could read y'all. Matter of fact, let me do that before I get up out of here. I created a list of people that's Pisces, right? And I'm gonna read off these names so you could get an idea of what a Pisces life like and what a Pisces is about. Okay, so you got Rihanna, Justin Bieber, Queen Latifah, the Olympian Simone Biles, Bruce Willis, Drew Barrymore, Eve Longoria, will.i.am, Eva Mendes, the famous thinker Albert Einstein, the billionaire Bernard Arnault, Elon Musk, billionaire, some basketball players, Tristan Thompson, Chris Webber, Rajon Rondo, Alex Caruso, Tim Hardaway Jr., Kenny Smith, Jamal Crawford, Stephon Marbury, Steph Curry, Shaquille O'Neal, Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, Charles Barkley, Rupert Murdoch, the person who created one of the co-founders of the Nike brand, Phil Knight, Draymond Green, Floyd Mayweather, Danny Garcia, Errol Spence Jr., Andre Ward, Freddie Roach, who's the famous coach of Manny Pacquiao. Papoose is a Pisces. Clarissa Shields is a Pisces. And I'm a Pisces. So now go through that list, read that list over of all of the people that I just mentioned. Look, Rihanna's a billionaire. Rihanna's a billionaire. Now, who's Rihanna dealing with? Right? Look at who she's dealing with. Look at who she's in a relationship with. Even though he have less money than her, when it comes to Pisces, we be about that business. It's money. Money comes into the picture. But the kind of people that we are, we're going to generate money. We're going to make it happen. We look at the Mayweathers. He's arrogant and all of that, but look at what he accomplished. It's like not too many boxers going to accomplish what he accomplished. Look at Shaquille O'Neal. One of the geniuses, business minds of players that came out of the NBA. Pisces is a different kind of breed. And a lot of time Pisces get taken for granted and get taken advantage of because we got a big heart. We team players and we builders. We builders. We be focused on the mission. We be focused on trying to make sure everything and everybody straight around us. And everybody don't respect that and everybody don't appreciate that. And like I said, I done went through some of the same circumstances as Papoose, and I dealt with it the same exact way that he did. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel where he at and where he coming from as an individual. But it ain't easy because sometimes your mind be, yeah, I'm saying. So yeah, man, y'all, continue to be blessed, man. Check out some of my other videos. I'm a work in progress. I'm still, moving and grooving in terms of ultimately the direction that I'm seeking to go in. But everything is going to be about positivity. Everything is going to be about upliftment. It's going to be about some health, some wealth, some prosperity. I got a lot going on in life. I'm going to share with y'all some of those things because I'm a builder as well. And I want to see people successful. And, as time go on, I'm going to be sharing information about those lines. But I had to tap in on this Remy Ma and Papoose situation because it was just an opportunity, for me to give a real message and to get some real spill in terms of, life and relationships and how things play out. Man, y'all stop crashing out. Females stop crashing out over dudes. Dudes stop crashing out over females. You know what I'm saying? For all y'all females that's out there doing dirt and doing dudes dirty, it's going to come back to you. To all you dudes out there doing females dirty, it's going to come back to you. Stop living in the moment and start planning for the future because it's getting rough out there. It's getting hard out there. And you need a builder in your life. You need somebody that know how to problem solve and come up with solutions. You don't need no hothead. Because if you got a hothead that you in a relationship, male or female, when y'all be out and about, y'all hanging out, y'all chilling, y'all partying, y'all getting y'all groove on, when you dealing with a hothead, it's easy for y'all to get into arguments, debates, or situations with other people who may be just as hot-headed as you. And something bad can happen. So you don't want to be a hothead. If you want to be a hothead, be hot-headed about accomplishing some goals. Be hot-headed about putting some food on the table. Be hot-headed about, putting some money away for a rainy day. Be hot-headed about changing your circumstances. Be hot-headed about raising your kids instead of letting the streets raise them. Because a lot of y'all females out there right now, and a lot of y'all dudes, y'all fouling out. Y'all got y'all kids out here looking crazy. Y'all got y'all kids out here committing crimes and chasing the streets and drug addicts and all kind of everything going on. And all y'all want to do is be on social media and have people think you living your best life when your kids is out there lost. And I mean, so like, let's get right, man. Let's get it right. Appreciate everybody that tapped in. I'm gonna be doing more live videos, and I used to do them at one time. I'm gonna be doing more live videos. If I don't, then I don't. If I do, then I do. And everybody just have a blessed day. Learn from everything that happened in life and look at situations like you don't have to experience it yourself. It's better to learn from the experiences of others than to experience yourself because it saves you a lot of headache, heartache, and heartbreak. Shout out to everybody, man. Appreciate everybody who tapped in. Appreciate everybody who commented. And now we're going to get back to real life. Once the camera is off, now we go back to real life. So that's the reality that everybody got to deal with. So don't be fooled by the cameras. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Tyrone Hunter, what's really good?